You're listening to The Dangerous Mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov. No excuses, no BS, no pants.
This is really surprising because you're listening to the ART Tube Pac Preamp, which is a really super cheap preamp. I've had this preamp for about 20 years, and I haven't used it in about 15. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Microphone Playboy podcast. So, over the weekend, I found in the garage this old Tube Pac, the ART Tube Pac Preamp, which I had purchased back in my podcasting days in the mid-2000s, believe it or not. And I didn't like it then because I was using it with a dynamic mic. And I didn't really like the way it sounded, but I thought I wanted an external preamp to go into my interface, right? So I bought this thing, and I don't know how much it was, maybe $150 back then. No big deal. But listen to it. I really haven't used this thing in maybe like 15 years or more was the last time I maybe plugged it in. And I'm actually kind of surprised. Now, you're listening to it through the Serena microphone, which you may have heard on this channel. The Serena microphone is a OPA Alice mic by Jules Reichenbusch. And this is a very transparent mic. And in the video that I did with the Serena, I had to put a fair amount of EQ on it because it has a really open bottom end. And it has a really bright top end. It's really kind of a blank slate kind of microphone. And so before, when I had it running through the MT-48, I had a high pass filter at 80 and a low pass filter at 10K in order to rein it in. But this has no EQ on it. This has zero EQ on it at all. And I'm thinking that this actually sounds pretty good. Now, I don't have on the Tube Pac. The Tube Pac is it's an odd little box. It's like a half rack size desktop style preamp, and it has two tubes in it. It basically has a tube front end on it, and a pretty much a solid state back end on it, meaning that it isn't a full tube amp. It's like a hybrid tube amp. But it also has a tube compressor in it. And I don't have the compressor engaged on it yet. But I plugged this thing in this morning, and I mean, it was just making this hellacious hum, and I was like, let's sit for a couple hours, because again, it hasn't been plugged in. It hasn't been warmed up for a long time. I mean, again, we're talking about the first Obama administration when the last time I think I used this thing. And overall, right? I mean, again, with this really highly detailed, very, very precision-oriented mic, going through this tube preamp, even this cheapy tube preamp, and I find this to be actually a fairly pleasing, decent sound for my voice. Now, this is really odd. This is going to require more examination, but I wanted to share this with you because I'm really very surprised. I was not expecting the Tube Pac, this cheapy Tube Pac, and you can find these things still. This is like early 2000s technology. You can find these things still like on eBay and Reverb and all that. I think you can find them really for pretty cheap. And I think that maybe even if I got in this thing and switched out the tubes, which I'm thinking may not be a terrible exercise, because I'm pretty sure they're just generic tubes in there. I think there are a couple of 12AX7s. Oh no, I think it's a 12AX7 on the preamp and a 12AU7 on the compressor. But either way, I'm thinking maybe put a decent tube in the preamp and this may not suck. So, hold on. Let me enable the compressor just real quick. Yeah, it has a built-in compressor. All right, so this is with a touch of compression on it. And I have to keep the unit out of the booth. I can't keep it here with me in the booth because it hums. It's got an electronic hum to it. So it's kind of noisy, so you definitely want to keep it away from your microphone. But again, with a little bit of, it's feeling a little, it's starting to get a little, a little bit too much. But I could probably roll this back. But overall, it's not terrible. All right, let me take compression off it. And here, let's go back and let's sum this up. Again, so this is without the compression on it. And quite honestly, again, I'm really shocked. Because with this microphone, with the OPA Alice mic, the Serena mic, I mean, this really actually sounds pretty great. Am I wrong? Let me know what you think, all right? This is definitely blowing my mind. But the ART Tube Pac Preamp is actually not terrible. And I think I'm definitely going to switch some tubes in it, see what happens. All right, let me know what you think, all right? Hey, until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemcoff on a really cheap preamp, fading to black.